Okay, hi, welcome to everybody. Welcome to a new session with CareerFoundry, 2025 Career Roadmap for Aspiring Designers. We are going to interview David Wenk, who is here next to me on the screen. He's a CareerFoundry UX design graduate who has become a design expert after many years of experience. But before we kick things off, we are going to give some more time so more people can join and get settled and ready for the session. Meanwhile, please go ahead and bring some activity in the chat. Maybe you could say hi, share your name, where are you based right now, and maybe why you are interested in a career in design. We love to make our events very interactive, so feel free to drop any comment along the session. We love to see that. David is there already engaging. That's good. I'm Belinda. I'm the events manager here at CareerFoundry, and I have the great pleasure of welcoming David Wenk to one of our events. David, could you please introduce yourself very, very briefly?
Yeah, totally. Thank you for being here, Belinda. My name is David. I'm from Berlin. I've been now in the industry for 8 years, all in all. I did my career transition around 2018 and like the CareerFoundry course. And when CareerFoundry approached me to help give guidance to new designers, of course, because I have been there probably where you are right now.
Wonderful, David. It's great to have you here. And thank you so much for the introduction. We are going to dive into your career journey in a bit, but let me first share a few reminders. Hi, everyone. We have Farouk from San Francisco, Donabel from the Philippines, Brianna from New Jersey, Sashim from India. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here and keep it up. Okay, let me introduce you to CareerFoundry for those who are new to the channel. CareerFoundry is the online career academy for aspiring tech professionals. We guide you from complete beginner to job-ready professional in UX, UI, and product design and help you land your first job in the field. You will receive the support of expert mentors and career specialists to help you succeed in your career goals. And you can do it at your own pace because our programs are very flexible, completely online, and with a job guarantee at graduation. And also you will learn how to apply artificial intelligence in your future career. A few last things before I start with the interview. The session is being recorded and we will send the recording out tomorrow via email. We are going to have some time for your questions after the interview. So please drop them in the chat, in the Q&A tab if possible, and we will answer them later. On the other hand, if you have any questions about our programs, about our curriculum, about the jobs in your locality, any question you might have, please book a call with one of our program advisors. They are lovely people. They would love and they will be super happy to speak with you and answer all of your questions. And this is all from the introduction. I see more people sharing in the chat.
A fellow architect too.
Huh?
We have a fellow architect too.
Oh, nice. That's super nice. Good. Welcome, everybody. So yeah, let's start with the interview. Are you ready, David?
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Okay, so I think we didn't mention it before, but you did make significant career change from architecture into design. So what inspired that shift and how did you navigate the transition?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I mean, I studied architecture and worked like 4 years as a construction manager. I built solar panels, high-rise buildings, but I always felt that the construction industry is like very slow in adapting new things, new technologies. Like it's not very innovative and modern place to work. It's very hierarchical. right? It's like the older guys call always the shots, and when you're like a young graduate, you're like don't really have anything to say, and that's why I wanted to work into tech. I was also at this time in San Francisco. I worked as a construction manager, not in tech, but I saw how a lot of people in America switch their careers, and it's like something completely normal. Whereas like here in Germany, you study something and then you work there at least for 20 years, and like you're very dedicated to it. So this kind of gave me like a first glimpse. I can make a transition there, and I thought I have to learn to code to move into tech, right? So I did some web development there first, and but then moving on, I heard UX design, that it's basically like architecture for like digital products, right? So, and that's how I kicked off. I researched a lot, right? There's so much content out there and so many videos. So I was like very overwhelmed, like everybody in the beginning, right? And so I was looking for something that gives me like a clear direction, a curriculum, maybe a path to follow, because yeah, it's a new industry. Back then it was much more new. So many changes, and yeah, that's why I also looked for something more comprehensive like CareerFoundry in the end of the day.
Okay, very good. We will speak about that in a bit. But then let's say you got disappointed with your first path, that was architecture, and then you were in a place, let's say America was the inspiration for you to transition into tech,
Yeah.
because it was very common there. That's very nice to discover. But then you decided to pursue a career that was still related with your previous background, architecture, because what you mentioned is like architecture is very related to UX design.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah, you did like there's yeah. We will probably talk later about transferable skills.
Yeah.
Also, but there's like lots of stuff I could take over there. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. But then you decided to pursue a career in UX design. But when did you first hear about the term of UX design?
So yeah, as I said, I didn't know it exists. So I was like doing web design stuff, and always when I wanted to design something, I was Googling. It's like, hey, how to build a design and navigation? How does a button hover? How does it work, right? And just like by intuition, moving it like together. And I thought, okay, this is like web design. But then I had like my wife. She works at Salesforce, and she said, "Hey, network here with a designer, and he's a UX designer." And I was like, UX design. What is this? And are you just designing? And the experience. Interesting. I had like for the first time I heard about user journeys, personas and all this stuff, and I was like, wow, this would be cool. And now it makes sense that this field exists because I was always like, I have to code and think about the stuff, and you just have to kind of figure it out. And yeah, that was like the first time I found the term.
Very good. So your wife introduced you to UX designer.
Yeah, exactly. Because in her company, it was established, and then I networked, and then I found it out because it was not so common publicly.
Yeah. Very good. Very interesting. Okay, so so you did the career change with CareerFoundry Bootcamp, that we will speak about your experience in the program later. But now, in general, in the career transition, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah. So my biggest challenge was definitely, as I mentioned briefly, the vast amount of information that is available. I mean, it's not like an architecture or something where you go to college or you have books and you know, okay, this is exactly what it is. Now it's like you have YouTube, everybody have influencers, everybody tells you this is how to do it, that, and that stressed me out a lot. And that's why I wanted to find something that gives me relatively quickly like an overview and a path I want to take, right? And that's why I picked then like something like CareerFoundry, and because of course I had a job, I made money, and I didn't want to go to college again for 3 years again, right? I was like, okay, how can I find a compromise there?
Very good. Let's say that the program speed the journey
Yeah,
to
yeah,
become a new professional
yeah.
quicker.
Absolutely. I was also skeptical about, of course, because, you know, for like other stuff, you study long um, and but then I like realized, wow, okay, this is like a really fast-paced, very intense overview of the field, and you have to do a lot of work, a lot of energy put in. It's not you just watch videos and then you know it. It's a lot of self involvement and motivation to be successful there. Yeah.
Definitely, hard work makes you succeed, and that's very important. And we congratulate you for your hard work, and you got it. So let's speak about what you mentioned before about transferable skills, which is really important. So, are there any skills from architecture that you found especially transferable to your work in UX design?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I worked as a construction manager and like really a lot with people together and on intense deadlines, like in really producing something. So I think I always had like a very intense attention to detail. Like because if you do in construction is a little bit wrong, it could break. You could hurt people, right? And so you have to do it correctly. It has to work. And of course, what's important for the course and also as a designer, what nobody talks about is like to manage yourself, to be like your own manager, your own project manager, because you have to manage through like the design process a lot. There are like different stages. And so you need to know, okay, how much time do I spend now on this? What is like the artifact? Because you don't always have like 6 months or 3 months for every design project. Sometimes you have only 2 weeks, and you also have to come up with something great. And then you need to plan out your design process and say, okay, this is what I can do, and this is how I can deliver value, and with any time frame, basically. I think that's what I learned in architecture a lot, and construction manager, to deliver quick under pressure.
Very good. So let's say time management to meet those deadlines. So it's kind of similar in design. So this is a very good skill that you brought.
Yeah.
And that you were detail oriented. This is also a skill that designers need to have. They have to be
100%.
very detail oriented.
100%. You need to also like the details, right? Like, especially in these days market, we will talk about it later, but details make a difference between a good UI, even, you know, like when you create something and you see like there's something off in the alignment, it just shows like that you care, right? And that you, especially as a junior designer, they want to see you care about the work, and that you put it in and you really look closely and it looks like not messy, right? If it makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. It does. Excellent. Yeah. Thank you so much. We have spoke about your career transition. Let's speak now about your experience in the studying, basically educating yourself in design. You took a CareerFoundry UX design program. So how was the experience?
I found it was, for me, it was excellent, right? So it's not for everyone because you have like a self-paced, you sit on a computer and you learn. Some people learn more when they have teachers, some people in front of them, or they have to go a place. So it can be, as I said, you need to organize yourself a lot, like be like self-discipline, because, we all know, then you sit on your computer and then you open YouTube and you watch something and then you are like drifting away or something, right? So it's important that you have the self-discipline and like really know why you want this, because it's going to be hard. And after a couple months, that you say, oh, I want to maybe do a little bit only, or then you're tired and you don't want it. So that's definitely, it was a self-paced. For me, it was liberating, the experience, because I could organize myself. I was like, oh, I do it like this. And then you, of course, had the mentors, right? And they make the difference for me. There are many boot camps out there, but this is the difference that keeps your learning from like, okay, I'm reading books and something, but to like definitely now are 50% or something more, because you can exchange, talk with them, you can build a real relationship with them, and they look closer to your work and find details that you wouldn't, right? And this is so important to have this, and it's invaluable to that you can have this. Even a tutor, that as well.
Yeah, and career specialist. I was actually going to ask you for the highlights. I guess the mentor, the support you receive a lot in the way is one of them. But before that, I wanted to ask you, so because I think this is also important, because the program gave you flexibility, you have your own pace. Were you working full-time when you were doing the program?
In the beginning, yeah.
In the beginning.
So
Okay.
I must say I did, there's like the AFA, and if there's a self-paced, like the self-pay thing, I decided, because I was still working the first half of it, then I had to invest it myself, because the Arbeitsamt in Germany doesn't allow this like transition there. And then I was like, okay, now I'm like halfway through. I want to do it full because it needs also more attention, right? And it was also more fun in the end to like really focus on the stuff. It's definitely possible to do it part-time. But imagine of course, it's a financial thing, right? You don't, of course, you want to focus full-time if possible. But if it's not possible, it's also okay, right? It's also, I felt great. Okay, I calculated this many months I can take off before I need to find a job. And then I focused on this to get as quick as possible job ready.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge to be working full-time and focus on learning new stuff. And that depends on the situation of every person, is what you mentioned, depending on the finance, the economics, your time, the time you have. Maybe some people are kind of lost, because you mentioned you could take the route of doing with the AFA for the people who are based in Germany, because now we have a global audience.
Yeah.
The people who is in Germany and they are an employee, they could take those studies for free, because if you are an employee, they fund your new education, so you can find a new career. So for those who are here wondering, what is the Agentur für Arbeit?
Yeah.
So it's the job center here in Germany, and they pay yours for your studies. Okay, let's speak now about the highlights and the challenges of the program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, for me, like the biggest highlight was the mentor, definitely, and that you had a project in the end that it's project based, right? So that you can work towards something and then you can show it and you can also present and you can tweak also afterwards. That's what I would recommend everyone. Yes, you are under time pressure when you do the course, but and it's maybe not looking perfect, but you will improve also afterwards. Like you will continue to educate yourself, you will work, and then it's like a good practice to go back to them and maybe refine them and tweak them and then update in your portfolio and say, look, this is what I did 2025 and this is now 2026 with my updated skills, right? And it shows like a lot of like, transformation and also dedication to do that. But a lot of designers forget that once you are in a job, you're like, now I have a job, I don't need it anymore, and it's kind of forgotten. So yeah, that's just a little tip on the side.
Very good. So portfolio is it's a work in progress. Let's say it's like it has to be updated for every designer, right?
Yeah, the portfolio. I mean, the funny thing is that it's for you as a junior designer to score a job is a different portfolio than for a mid-level designer and for a senior and then manager. It looks all different, right? And that's like a lot of designers then make the mistakes. They're like, in the beginning, it's about showing me your skills, show me what you can, like as much as you can, right? As much as possible. And process thinking and like your thought process, communicating that thought process. Then later on, it's about contribution, business goals, then influencing people, impact. And then it's like really about impact and not about, I made the screen, bam. But for now, you can say, I made the screen, and that's good. But later, it's about like really, okay, yeah, how did you help the business with it? How did you really help the users with it? What behavior did you transform?
Yeah, I guess it's an evolution, and like the curve of learning, it's gonna be totally different at the beginning towards your more advanced career. We're gonna actually speak about portfolios later in a bit. But let me go back to the question. So some of the highlights were the support you receive, the mentor and the tutor, I guess also the career specialist that you receive in the job preparation, because some of our graduates, they don't finish because they find a job before, which is great. And also the portfolio, because we have to mention that the portfolio is very important for designers. So you were working on projects that they will be, you would build a portfolio that is important later for the job site.
Exactly. It's not just you learn something, you're building like a case study, right? And then you can integrate this into a portfolio on somewhere. And that's like really super valuable that you don't have to. That's like a tip, right? Like that you think about then like, okay, how do you, when you design this, and then you send it like to your mentor or tutor, see them already as like your future user, like your recruiter or something. Like you don't use overly text heavy. You want to give your best, right? Your best design, and you annotate the most important steps so that it's easy to comprehend. You think about layout, all these things, because then the assets later help you in your portfolio creation. It's much, much easier than to pull it together. And that's definitely then helpful with CareerFoundry to have these little milestones there. Yeah.
Very good. And I don't know if you mentioned that, but some of the challenges you had during the program?
I mean, in the end, it's quite a lot of time pressure, but I was not so challenged by the, as I said, you have to organize yourself a lot and take the feedback that the mentors and tutors give you, take it and then refine your design work for it. A lot of people take feedback like, oh, cool feedback, but then they move to the next. But it's invaluable. You receive the feedback, you design, it takes more work, but you design, implement it, and then you move to the next, right? That's like really valuable. And yeah, if you don't do it, then it would be a challenge, right?
Definitely, it's super important to take the feedback that expert give you and use it to learn and to improve. It's really good. Very good. So the last question I have regarding the program, did you feel that the CareerFoundry program helped you upskill as you hoped?
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned before, it was chaos, and then it was structure, right? And this is like the one. It gives you like a roadmap, and also the methods, like a tool belt of all the methods you need, like usability testing, personas, customer journey mapping, and stuff like that. And I personally did a lot after I had a job, referred back to CareerFoundry just to look up and brush up the skills, because a lot of the things you find also in books, but they're like 200 pages. And the good thing is, like in CareerFoundry, you get like a very good summary on like a certain topic, and that's like already 80% of what you need in the beginning, right? And then later you want to upskill, you want to do more, you want to dive deeper. But yeah, I found it always, and also like as a learning repository, like really helpful. Yeah.
Very good. So you felt like
Yeah.
you developed the skills you needed to become a UX designer.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Very good. I'm glad to hear that. So let's speak now about something that we already mentioned, and it's very important: the portfolio and the job search, because it's one of the main concern of people when they decide to make a career change. They have to look for a job, so they really need to make sure they are gonna find a job. So let's speak about that. How was your experience? So when you were building the portfolio, what kind of projects did you focus on, and what helped you to build a strong portfolio?
So for me, back then, I always say, do as much as possible in addition to what you do at the bootcamp, right? Because truth being said, you get out of the bootcamps, yes, you have a foundation, but you have to imagine a hiring manager looks at a lot of similar case studies. It's like, oh, okay, that's a tattoo app. Oh, this is like a weather app, or whatever, right? And that's great because you can showcase your skills. You learn something. That's good. But I don't know if it's possible still like this. But I was like really asking my friends who have like businesses. But I had like a little bit technical background, as I mentioned. And I said, hey, can I design your website? Can I build something? Or I did for nonprofits. There are like websites where you can do where nonprofits ask for basically very cheap help, right? And they're very grateful if you can help them. Like they have apps, they do stuff. And then you can like say, yeah, I can provide you with a design. And that really helped me. I had then in the end 3 case studies after, because I did a lot of I did some of web design stuff, then I did like a nonprofit work, and then the case study I had in there. So I had like solid stack in there. And I'm saying, and that helped me. And I think this would even still work today. And it's a good way to separate yourself and just create some individually, to spice it up. In the beginning, you want to also, mention, when you don't have the experience yet, you think a lot of heavy also about your transferable skills, like about these topics. that you not just say, hey, I'm a lawyer and now I'm a UX designer. Like, okay, I have like exceptional people skills, I'm exceptionally organized, and then show this into the case study and mention it in the case study. Not just like in the about me sections, like, yeah, I'm a former this and that. And then like you write in the case study, you show your personality and your background. You say, as an architect, as I was very detail oriented and conceptual. That's why it reminded me to do it like this. Like, okay, you can refer and connect to past experience, and it's not just a label or something that you have like in your resume or something. You make this all over and you prove and you show evidence in your case studies, and that builds trust along the way, and it separates you again. Right, it separates you again and makes you individual. And the hiring manager these days in the hiring market, they look very special. I don't know, for junior roles, probably not, but like for senior roles, I can say it's very special. Like they look like, okay, B2B is not even enough. Like, you want to work in this special industry again, and you talk to similar people, you have similar this and that. And when you have like a background that can be connected to the company that you're applying, it's great, right? So don't just like forget it. And then, yeah, that would be, that's how I got ahead, right? That's how I infused it in my case studies. And I think just trying to give you tips for the audience so that they can use for their portfolio and job search.
Yeah, definitely. I find it super interesting and valuable what you are sharing. So thank you so much. So the two biggest insights that I take from here is add more of
If
what
you
you have
can,
done.
if you can, right? Everybody has different time constraints. I know. I also said, okay, I have also background. I taught a lot also to myself before. If you can.
If you can, try to do more,
Yeah.
and that's good. Try to be proactive and
Always.
work on volunteering projects, and that's really good. Like search for opportunities around you, let's say,
Yeah.
to make a project, a design, and also show and reflect your personality in your projects
Yeah.
to show them later to the recruiters. And so
Exactly. Connected into the project, right? That's like really makes you
unique.
special, makes you unique. Exactly. That's the right word. Yeah.
Very, very good. That's great. Okay. Let's speak now about the job search, but I didn't know. I mean, I don't know. How long did it take you? What was the first role you got after doing the program, and how long did it take?
So I had a UX UI designer job in a startup in Berlin, and it was like that. My mentor, right? He was there, and he had a job at this time, and he was getting offered a job, and he was like a freelance. It was a freelance role. It was like a 3 months contract. There was like a thing, and he was like, "Hey, David, I seen your work. I will recommend you." That's why I'm saying your network is really important. Build a good relationship with this person. And yeah, I was also as a team lead, and I also hired people from CareerFoundry who were there. So like just that being said, like that, it's like really important to have that connection there. So then I had like a freelance contract, and then they took me into a full-time role. Like that was like really, yeah, immediately. I had like 1 month still the bootcamp to do, and then I had already had a job, and that's why I also did the career training not till the end there, because I already was in there. But yeah, that's how I got my foot in the door. Like really, the first title also like, okay, this is a dedicated UX UI design role where I could apply the stuff that I learned.
Oh, that's great to hear. So for juniors, another of the route could be freelancing.
Yeah, of course, like to get a foot in the door, right? Because especially today, they are maybe hesitant to invest like really in a role, because you have to plan ahead when you have a role, at least for a year, you know, with all this. And if they say, hey, try it for like 2 months on a small project, and then you convince really, then there's like a chance that they hire you, right? It depends on the company. Of course, some people, they only want short term, but you hear out also when they say, yeah, we actually look for something long term. Yeah, it would be cool, but right now we want to test it out, you know. And it's very common also in the creative industry to start with freelancing, to get a foot in the door, and then convince them, and then because it's a quicker way. I think for them it's more cost effective, because all the taxing stuff, it's on you, right? Health insurance, at least in Germany, they don't have to pay that, and you're like self-employed, you have to take care of this, so it's a convenience factor.
Very good, very good. You share a bit already, but what strategy did you use when you were job hunting? You mentioned something already about networking and
yeah, I mean, back then I wasn't yet job hunting, but I job hunted before, like also afterwards, right? Like I mean, we always have to at some point in our careers apply for roles, right? And I mean, you know, I post on LinkedIn. I try to stay in contact with people that I met. I mostly got a lot of roles out through the network, and it's like really, it sounds simple, but it's not about the connect requests on LinkedIn or something. Even like I had job interviews where they didn't take me, right? They didn't take. It's like rejections all over. That's like normal of the process. But I still build with the hiring manager a good relationship, because I ask them for feedback, and you're willing to take feedback, and that's always good. You know, like you don't take it personally. It's like you want to learn something, and then you follow up with them and ask them for feedback in your case studies that you update or something, you know. And that's like just like to have like really meaningful people and connections in your design connections, you know. You can ask for feedback is so important with your portfolio, that you can share it to someone. And that helped me definitely too.
so networking is super important in this industry. What advice did you give to someone who finds challenging that, like reaching out to people and trying to create new connections? What advice would you give to them?
I mean, I think networking doesn't have to be, I think, the scary thing that you go to a meetup or something and you talk to everyone or something. I think everybody has like a different tolerance, also like a social level tolerance, how to interact with someone. And maybe it can be that you just go to a design conference or like a meetup, they're like in big cities, and you just start by asking one question, like to the person who speaks out there. Just one question, right? To just like go over the threshold. You're like, oh, okay. And then sometimes, like I had this when I asked like a question, then the meetup is over, and then people come to you and say, oh, really cool question. I have a thought about that. Right, and then you like have a conversation, and you're not awkward anymore with like, hi, my name is David. Like it's it's like it's more natural. This like just as one thing, how you could just like make it feel more natural. Yeah.
Very good, very good. I love that. Thank you so much. I find it a great tip there. Let's change topics now.
Mm-hmm.
And let's speak about a really hot topic we already were speaking before about the AI in design. Um, because artificial intelligence has become a strong ally of designers and tech professionals nowadays. So, from your perspective, how has AI impacted the design field and your work?
I mean, it's a fantastic tool, right? I think, I mean, I've been using like these chatbots and GPTs, or Gemini. I think it's really good to help you with research, to create like scripts or anything, or synthesize information. Now recently, of course, also with the UI tools that are out there. With Figma, where you can now, like in the pro version, write a prompt and it creates you like a nice wireframe or something. But since everybody is probably anxious, also I'm also anxious. It's normal. Like it's a lot of change there. I just wanna like one story that how I think junior designers should approach it. Right. I think, yes, you should be open to tools, and if you're curious, by all means, right? Like you should try them out. But I think it's very important in the beginning of your career to do things with the industry tools like Figma and design, and even with your hand. You need to learn the craft. You need to learn the craft, because the problem with AI is that you don't know in the beginning what to ask them, and what they're doing, and why is it right or wrong. And that's dangerous, because you think, because AI of course creates something very confidently, because the experience is so rapidly how it creates something that it gives you like the feeling, oh, this is like correct. And you need to learn skills first, and then the tools can assist you, right? It's like really critical there. Like, for example, in architecture, during my architecture studies, what we did there, like it was just during the kick-off time when a lot of 3D tools came out, and CAD software. And in the first two, and it makes, of course, designers, architects' lives easier. But if you don't know what you're doing, you like skip learning process. So in the beginning, the first 2 semesters, they said, you have to draw everything by hand. You have to draw everything by hand, and don't use these tools. And then after that, you will do this. And I would also say for UX designers, learn user experience the ground way up, and then you can learn how the tools assist you. Right. I think it's great position that you are in right now as junior designers, that you are not stuck in old ways. That you're like, oh, this is a tool I always use, and it should be always a certain way. And then the new tool comes and you're surprised by it. So I think definitely you can adapt quicker to new changes there, but focus on the craft. It's really important, because in the interview, an experienced designer will look through your inexperience right through, and that's not a problem. That's not a problem. But when you have a shiny UI or some super fleshed out interview questions that look just like, oh wow, this is like a senior designer would have done this, and then they ask you, tell me how you approached this and your thought process behind it, and then it becomes really bad, right? And it's much better you say, this is what I know, and but I'm eager to learn, right? And this is much more approachable. And okay, I'm hiring a junior designer. they're really ambitious and I want to invest in them, and it's much more authentic than like just showing like AI generated designs.
Yeah, really good. So use artificial intelligence to help you, but don't make that miss your learning.
Yeah.
Let's say,
Yeah.
make sure you learn. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
You use it as your, or it's also really good maybe at CareerFoundry when you don't understand something, right? Then go to ChatGPT and ask, hey, can you give me a simpler version of it as you would tell this to a 12-year-old, right? And use only like 5 sentences or something, right? And then just like gives you this out, and this can be really helpful then to like as a learning aid.
Very, very, very good. Okay. I'm mindful of the time. I still have a few questions that I would like to ask you.
Yeah.
And I would like to encourage the people to ask any question they might have, because now we are going to go over your questions in a bit. But before, David, could you have experience as a team leader?
Exactly.
So what have you seen that are key skills of designers to thrive?
As I mentioned, craft attention to detail, right? That's one thing. Like you want to have someone who cares, who is like really loves to create something polished that is great, and something that AI will not replace you is like the collaboration skills, right? Like and how you align with different stakeholders, because you will always most likely as a designer, if you work on a product team, you will work with engineers, you will work with product managers, you will work with marketing team, and like really people who are able to communicate to these different stakeholders are the best, people who would just say, no, I'm just here in my design, I don't want to present anything, I don't want to be in the meetings or something, that's difficult, because then they don't get the visibility, and you need the visibility in the team to get recognition too.
Very good. Before we pass over and we open the time for the audience questions, could you maybe tell us what would it be your perfect roadmap to make a career transition into the current market for those aspiring designers?
Well, in the beginning, pick one course, bootcamp, anything that gives you like a structure, an overview of how the process work, right, and everything, and then invest there a lot, and then like really look for side projects and invest in your portfolio, and not just like it's like really your gateway. This is like your gateway, and like look at other designers' portfolios, and who are also junior designers, of course, right? And try to replicate what they do, and then from there you go forward. And personally, I also read a lot of books back then, right? And that helped me as well to stay relevant. It's always the best when you have something, when you have like a role or you have a project, and then you don't know something, or you read like a book and then immediately implement it. Yeah, so you're not reading and then the book goes into the shelf and it's gone, but you have like an idea or something. Let's say you read like a book about UI design, and you get inspired, and then you go immediately maybe to your case study that you have and update it, and you also mention it. You say, yeah, I read this book and I really learned how to do this now, and that's why I make it now like this. Right? This is what I mean. It's not static, and you always keep updating and learning, right? This is like it's a hustle. It's a real hustle. It's not. It's like because the skills, and you do it the first time. Everybody has a different talent they bring also to the table, and you bring it to then you have to refine it and do it better and better. And you don't see it in the beginning. You just don't have the eye, and it's normal. It's fine. It's take yourself the time. Today, I would probably have a job on the side. I would probably have work. At my time, it was a bigger boom, a bigger need for UX designers than it is today, right? So I would definitely hone my skills and like really build up your foundations rather and step by step. This is a long journey. This is a journey, and you need to have like stay mentally sane for it, right? This is like always upskill, always refine another project, even if it's just like an redesign of an app that you like or something, but always continuously. Don't just like finish CareerFoundry and say, now I apply and this is it. And I sent 50 applications with the same portfolio, but it didn't work. No, you like apply, refine. It's like this iterative approach, right? This is like constantly at some point, I will guarantee you you will get positive feedback. At some point you hit this threshold of like, yes, this is what's great. This is now good. And then you get the interviews, but it's a struggle. Back then, 2018 or so, there was like definitely lower interest rate. Everybody knows it. Like there were like higher growth also for companies, and companies would take more a risk with like unexperienced designers. Maybe it's like, we'll learn on the job, and that's why it's so critical to communicate your value, communicate what makes you different, and constantly keep learning, step by step, like ongoing, yeah, and always reflect this learning in your portfolio on the website. You know what it doesn't have to be a website, it can be PDF portfolio, it's fine. But yeah, this is what I would do. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Very good. I find so valuable all what you are sharing, and thank you so much, David, for being so honest with everyone, and so insightful, for giving such a great advice. Keep learning until the end. I would say it's a very nice advice. We didn't mention that, but you also learn coding, right?
After like, because I wanted to learn it, it was like last year. I just like did a full stack course. It just really helps bridging the gap. I'm still a designer, but there is a phenomenon that when you design something, that it sometimes looks different in production, and you just don't know why. And when you don't have a technical ability and at least look into a browser and change and help the developer to make this decision and to be like your own quality control, then you have it. It's like not so satisfying, at least for me. I want to always like, okay, my designs, the production looks exactly how I designed it.
Wonderful. That's great. Okay, that was the time for the interview. We have time now for your questions. Please, if you have any question for David, now is your chance to ask any question. I don't know about what we spoke, any doubt you might have, if it's a good career for you, anything. We have Alexandra, and she would like to know if there is a scholarship. We are going to mention one scholarship that we have right now, and I'm going to mention before we close the webinar. Let me check. We have Deborah. I'm a brand and a web designer. I usually work in marketing teams and I want to do my transition into product. However, it's very difficult to convince them to take me as a junior in product when I have so much to offer as a senior brand designer. How do I stop this competition with my own main skills?
I mean, it's great that you have like branding is such a great foundation because you can already imagine certain visions and how people feel when they approach like a product and or like a business, right? And now it's like really why they're not taking you is because they don't trust right now. They don't have enough confidence, right? They see because there's a gap missing, and your job is to bridge this gap now with creating, designs and like product designs. Maybe like the bootcamp can help you with it, but then you have like something, for example, tools that you use in marketing, in brand design, for example, like creating like a mood board, for example, and then based on this mood that you defined, you create like a design language for your product design, right? And then you show how you can translate it into like real artifacts and do something. So you need to think about how to transfer these skills and create evidence. It's not about, it's of course you need to talk about it, be able to talk about it, but you need to show, right? This is like what creates trust, right? And since you already work there in the company, means it's great. That means you have already network. It's always easier from inside. And maybe you can even ask some of the product team, someone you have a good relationship with, to be like something like your mentor, right? Have like invite them for a coffee chat or something if you're like in an office, or like every 2 weeks or 3 weeks you have like a call and you say, hey, can you look on something that I'm making, right? Then you build something. It doesn't have to be perfect, but this person will see your transition and will talk about you internally, right? This is something, and you can always ask, hey, and if they're looking for someone, the chances that they then go to you is much higher. Oh, so they only look for, so you left the company to work on your portfolio. But that's then, of course, then you're out, then you need to like really, but it's great that you have the foundation, and you need to like really show how you transfer the skills from branding, brand design, brand management, like branding itself, into like your design work. And I think then you have a great foundation for that. There's definitely, I can imagine, because I'm using also when I'm designing like UI designs or something, you think also about a brand. You think also like, okay, what tone of voice do I want to have? What vibe is it more classic, or is it modernistic? Is it like futuristic or something? And then you think, okay, what does it mean now for the style? Is this now like, what font is this? What color is it? And then you go down, what does it mean now for the interface, right? And this is then the transition you have to make. And if you have like some UX foundations that you also know how this fits in, this becomes easier.
Very good. I hope that helps, Deborah, and we wish you all the best for that transition. Maybe we could address the comment of Rafael. You have a few fellow architecture here in the room, which is great. So Rafael is saying, in architecture, I have had the experience that doing things perfect since the very first shot is almost mandatory. But sometimes one need to learn first, like we all do. But in my experience, seems very complicated. In UX design, on the on the other hand, I have the feeling that doing mistakes is more acceptable if you try to make the mistakes and fix them as soon as possible during the interaction. The interaction is fine. What do you think about it?
Yeah, it's absolutely true, right? It's much more. The good thing is about software is that you can deploy it, and your designs will hopefully still work, solve a problem, but they're not perfect, right? A building needs to stand, otherwise it breaks, right? It needs to be, right? And you cannot iterate. In architecture, you cannot iterate, otherwise, or it's like really expensive. It's good to show your design iteration process, but then in your portfolio, right? Approach also your portfolio then as, okay, this is my first version. And maybe it's not perfect, but you get something out of the door. But then you don't settle. And then you, like, maybe I do that so often, then I look at my designs again, it's like, I need to update them here and there. Then I update them, and then I show, okay, this was my first iteration, that's my second, and that's why I did it, right? And that's good to have this. This is good, not just like, here's my perfect design, right? Of course, you want to strive in the beginning for perfection, but it's not possible, of course. And you will always then, like, again, you read something, you read a blog post, or you do another online course or whatever, and then you see, you look at your designs and like, damn, there is like the hierarchy is not working. The most important thing is that the user has an interaction with this card. So how do I make this more visible? And then you describe your thought process in your learning process in your portfolio. So yeah, no, it's absolutely right, Rafael. It's more iterative and it's more forgiving as long you show like versioning of it.
Very good. So interesting. Okay, I'm mindful of the time. Let's take a question that we have from Donabelle. Would you recommend starting in UI, UX, or product design for someone who wants to start their designer career? How do you find your niche?
Sorry, I was just distracted from Jessica's comment. What's the question? To start in UX UI first, or?
Yeah, would you recommend starting in UI, UX, or product design for someone who wants to start their design career? How do you find your niche?
You should know if you want to be it would be a little generalistic from my taste if you just say, hey, I want to be a designer, and you don't know what designer you want to be. You know, if you want to, you should go into UX if you like technology, if you like to work on products, if you like really like concept, if you think like to think in flows and journeys, right? This is like something like graphic designers is more static, right? It's about images. It's like one shot. It's not about the experience. The experience is like this one screen basically, or a poster, or a book or booklet or something. So yeah, that would be like questions I would ask myself. I cannot answer that for you. What's a better start in design for you? It's like really your preferences, what you like doing.
Very good. Actually, for Donabelle, also I think it's nice to learn, as David already mentioned. So I would like to post there in the chat. We offer short courses. They are totally for free. You just have to register with your email, and you can get an introduction into UX, UI, and product design. And that could be very helpful for you to know if that is the right fit for you, because you are going to be doing during 5 days, more or less, activities that are going to be totally related what you will be doing as a UX designer or UI designer. So I just leave it there. Anyone who feel free to register and use it as a little help. Let's take the last question from Jessica. What is the starting salary?
Depends really on your location, right? It really depends. For Berlin, I know here it would be probably between 35 and 42K a year, I would say. Depends also on the company. It's less, it's mostly less in agencies than in tech companies, or like in companies that have, or like product companies. Product companies, I think, traditionally pay more, because then you're like in IT, like really, and not like in a design department somewhere. And so that's probably like higher there. Yeah.
Very good. I also would like to share an article that we have on the CareerFoundry blog regarding how much you can learn as a UX design. So you can find some information there. Jessica is also asking, I want to become a US researcher. Is this the right bootcamp? I think this is the perfect question for one of our program advisors. I know for certain we have people who has studied the US design program, and that has led to a UX researcher career. So you could ask that to one of our program advisors. And let's close the time for the questions with a question from Agnes. I'm learning US design, but still not confident about applying for jobs. How can I determine if I am qualified?
Well, you only determine it with the feedback from the market, right? So I would recommend you to apply for jobs. And if you don't hear anything back or you get rejections, then you know where you stand. And then you keep iterating, and I always, like, also after rejections, sometimes it's not possible if it's just a recruiter, but I always ask for feedback, if they can have it. Sometimes you get it, sometimes not. And you keep improving. And once you get invited for interviews, or recruiters reach out for you on LinkedIn, then you know you're qualified for the job. Simply as that. The market decides if you are qualified or not. And you need to try to learn as much as possible from the market. Like, apply, learn, refine, and also like writing cover letters and something. This is so important also, like, because you're always getting better. And then you look when I look at portfolios that I've sent in like 5 years ago or something, I'm like, what did I send in? And that's a good sign. It's a good thing, right? Also, like, stuff that I sent in 1 year ago is also like, and this is how it should be. You're always getting better, and at some point, then you hit it, and then you get invitations. But it's of course also about positioning, your background, right? As my first UX design job, I would probably always look to have a lot alignment with my past job, with my, like, for example, I got like a job as a UX designer, UX UI designer in a construction software company, and I got promoted there as a head of UX UI design. And I had, of course, a lot of experience I can draw as a construction manager. That was super valuable. And I didn't apply for jobs like in marketing agencies because I had no experience there. And I would probably also have gotten a lower salary there. So this is like something where you can connect and also mention your past experience a lot, and make it connect.
Very good. Awesome. Thank you so much, David. It was a pleasure to have you here. Also, to everyone, thank you for posting all of the questions. You were a great audience today. I don't know if you would like to share anything, David, before we close the webinar.
Yeah, I want to let you know that I know it's a long journey for you, but it's possible and you can do it, right? I back then put a lot of hard work in it, and you probably have to put more hard work in it but you can do it, right? Identify why you want to do it, and then connect your past experiences very much into your case studies and everything you do, so that it sets you up apart from others, right? So that makes you shine as a person and not just as a bootcamp graduate.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, David. We wish all the best to all of those aspiring designers, and yeah, definitely with hard work everything is possible. Before we close the webinar, definitely, I would like to share with you about the scholarship I mentioned before. Currently, we are offering a partial scholarship worth up to 30% off of our UX, UI, and product design program. This scholarship is available just until Friday. I checked with our program advisors; they still have a few spots available. So if you would like to take the leap into this exciting career and do a training, so take advantage of this scholarship, and you can book a call by simply clicking in the sticky note that you can see at the top of the chat. And this is all for today. Once again, thank you so much, David. It was a completely pleasure to have you here.
Likewise, I enjoyed it a lot.
That's great, and for sharing all of the great insights you tell here to our audience. And also thank you to everyone who was here until the very end. It was a pleasure to have you here, and I wish you all a great day and all the best for your future career. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.